It is the Riot Podcast. Welcome to the weekend.
All right, final podcast for the week, everyone. Good showing, guys.
Hate to hear somebody listening to this on a Wednesday next week that's a little behind, and they're like, "Oh, shut up!"
But in case you listen every day, I wonder if you notice a lightness to the Friday
tone,
show.
yeah.
You know, like we're just happier that we are at the end of the week.
Yeah.
And maybe that's good. Then you hear it and it inspires you
today
whenever you're listening to it.
I think we were trying to strike a balance today because a lot of the news, and we tried to filter it out, and it's probably even more filtered out in the podcast, but a lot of the news was more like negative stuff.
Sure.
At least what I was seeing. And so I was trying, but on the other hand, it's a Friday, and we got to talk to Sam from Paradise Now. So we tried to make the most of it and just keep a good attitude, even with negativity in the world.
You're right. Paradise Now joined us. They're one of our bands on RadioU. If you want to watch the interview when you're done with the podcast, follow us at RadioU Riot on Facebook or our YouTube channel. Subscribe while you're there, and you can watch the interview.
You might not have expected, but today we also talk about the House of Gucci trailer.
I felt like it was negative news and then entertainment news.
Yeah, it was a lot of entertainment. In fact, we didn't even get to talk about the first look at the Hawkeye TV show that's coming to Disney Plus in November.
We did talk about the Scarlett Johansson Disney stuff, so that is there.
Yep, and there was other entertainment stuff we didn't even get a chance to get to, and it will be old by the time we do our next show. So, but what else did we get to? My favorite part of the show was yesterday we talked about potato milk.
Yeah.
And today Nikki discovered you can also make corn milk.
Woo!
Yeah. And
why do they think we're making this stuff at home? I don't know. I mean, I have tried. I made almond milk once.
And how did it turn out?
It was fine, but it was so long.
Very tedious process.
Very tedious. And I had to pay for more supplies than I would have.
Now you see why almond milk is so expensive?
I just buy it at Costco, and it's not because they buy it in bulk.
Yeah, there you go.
So I get the savings.
Right. You get the discount. Well, maybe corn milk is an opportunity for you, although I don't think they sell that in stores.
They don't, and I'm not buying enough corn, so I'll have to try that. Sweet corn sounds good, though. I might do that this weekend.
Actually, it does. I want to have some corn on the cob.
That'll do. That'll do. What is it? That'll do, pig.
That'll do, pig. Yeah. Oh, make us feel real nice with that. And let's see. Oh, I like the bingo granny stories as well.
Is it
Don't mess
bingo?
With them.
And what's the other word for it?
Housey.
Housey, which is another term for bingo.
Yep. So that's all on the podcast and plenty more. It'll keep you occupied, get you through your weekend.
That's right. Thanks for listening. And of course, text and say hi this weekend, 877-2-RADIO-U. If something comes up or you find a story that we want to include on Monday's show.
And we should also mention the RadioU virtual 5K because now it is literally a week from when we're recording this to when you have to have your time in.
Yep.
So if you want to still be a part of that, if you want to be like me and do a lawnmower 5K, which I am doing this weekend.
A slow walk 5K.
Yeah, whatever 5K you want to do, that is going to be at radiou.com/5K.
Have a good weekend.
Like, review, subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe. We'll talk to you next time.
I think we've given them enough. It's the Riot.
It's the Riot.
The Riot isn't all bad, but this is the worst of the Riot. RadioU.
Here's the bad news. The coronavirus pandemic has delayed the Jaws musical.
Oh, boy, it hits the most important things, does it?
Are we
doing a Jaws musical? I didn't know that.
We're doing it.
We're not.
It is happening. Now, see, here's the problem. It was supposed to open this year in New Jersey, but with the pandemic rearing its head, it was delayed and moved to where it will now debut in Seattle next year.
Oh, they have to wait that long?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it was recently delayed, but for some reason it's in the news now that make sure you're keeping note that the Jaws musical is coming next year.
Hudson, according to this article, and if you could stop using such negative words, it is just being removed to a different date. It's not being, let's not use the D word, delayed, all right? It's just the plans have been altered.
Yes, it is.
What they're saying. saying.
It's all a part of the beautiful dance of putting on a musical.
Yeah, which, by the way,
includes a beautiful dance, right?
Hudson hates musicals. I don't think you're pretty shy about that.
Yep.
And the cool thing, though, it was supposed to be called Bruce. I think that's a nice name. That was the title of it when it was supposed to debut.
I was wondering if people will make the connection, because I didn't, that
Isn't
Bruce,
the shark Bruce?
The shark is named Bruce.
Yeah.
But that was the name of the shark on the set, like for the prop that was the shark.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't. I mean, I guess I know that, but I didn't make. If you said, "Hey, there's a new musical coming. It's called Bruce," then I'd be like, "Oh, the Jaws musical, of course."
Of course, that's Jaws. You wouldn't connect the two.
You need to see the poster for that one.
So the musical was previously said to be chronicling the making of Bruce, like of Jaws, telling the story of Steven Spielberg's start and challenges. They say that was at every turn of making Jaws. So it's not like it's Jaws, the movie.
Yeah.
They're not doing a musical about that.
Now I'm getting even more disappointed.
I know, because that'd be a lot of like water scenes, I guess.
Well, and Jaws, I think, only has like, for the majority of it, it's just 3 people on a boat.
Pretty much.
And then the absence of the shark, and it's horrifying.
They lean real heavy on that.
Yes.
So for this is about making Jaws, because if you didn't know some of the history, like the mechanical shark was really hard to get working.
Yep.
So that's why you don't see it a lot in the beginning of the movie. Wasn't just a decision to make it seem more intimidating of like, what is this thing?
The shark was, they had to fight hard to keep it from withdrawing, to just like it to make sure it stayed a part of the team.
That's it.
So
Seattle, just be aware that you'll be able to see Bruce the musical, though it's been altered, the plans.
Yep.
And that'll now be debuting next year.
Wow. What else to look forward to than a musical about the history of the making of Jaws?
The only better thing is if this would have been like one of those NBC musicals.
Oh, yeah.
The ones are Fox or something.
Oh, that'd be great. It would, for some reason, have some actress you haven't heard of in like 15 years involved. Yep, that sounds about right.
Worst of the Riot podcast.
One thing you need to learn, you never come between Grannies and their bingo.
I wonder if, like, does anybody grandmothers, like, play bingo? Is that still a thing?
It definitely is still a thing. I had a grandmother that used to play bingo.
She would?
Before she died.
I know. I've only ever seen it in movies where they have, like, this marker, like a big bingo stick sort of thing. And then they just,
And they don't just have one bingo card.
They have a bunch.
They have a whole table's worth of them.
So I don't even know if any of that's really how playing bingo is.
I've seen videos of it, and there's one of, if you ever watch the show Impractical Jokers, where they go out and like they just do dumb stuff in like the whole show is kind of like it's a prank show, but the pranks are the guys themselves have to do stupid stuff. They're not pranking other people, really. And so one of the punishments they had to do on that was a guy had to keep calling bingo in a bingo hall with all the bingo grannies, even though he didn't actually have bingo.
I bet they got mad.
And that was, they've done, that kind of show is done, like where you have to shave off your eyebrow, all this crazy stuff. And the worst thing was the bingo grannies, because by the end of that, they were so done with this guy. And I imagine that's what these grannies were like in New Zealand, Gisborne, New Zealand.
Did you see the name of the place they were playing?
No, I did not.
The Gisborne Pirates Rugby Club.
Oh, wow.
It was at 8 p.m. on a Friday.
Sounds like a rough place for a bunch of grannies.
It does. But
you know what? Bingo grannies can hold their own, as this story shows.
Is bingo like they were playing housey? Is that
I guess maybe
form
that's
of it?
a different version. We don't know that much.
I know,
maybe that's just a New Zealand thing. But they were all, it was about 30 women, the oldest of whom was 87.
Wow.
And 2 guys come in ski masks and black outfits, and they burst in, and they're trying to, I guess, rob the place of the bingo, the reward money. What do you call it? The pot,
the
yes.
pot of it?
Not the weed, but the pot, like the money. And
the winnings.
Yes, the winnings. And the grannies stifled these 30 grannies banded together and stifled the thieves' plot there.
Well, I mean, it is 30 women, even if they were elderly, against a couple of guys.
Yeah, but you know what happens? Like what you usually see if you watch like when a gas station gets robbed or whatever, there's people standing around and everybody just kind of stands back and lets it happen, partially because if you work in a place like that, they tell you if somebody comes in and tries to rob the place, just let them rob it and then call the police right away, and they're going to get away. Like, the amount of money that they're going to get away with is not going to equal out to if you try to stop them and they kill you or whatever. So just don't even worry about it. But, people just have the tendency to kind of stand back, let it happen, and we'll deal with it afterwards. But the grannies were like, this is our bingo money.
They were trying to save the $700. That was the bingo money. And I just looked it up. Housey is bingo in just certain parts of the world.
That's just what they call it there.
They call it that because when someone has bingo, we yell bingo, but there they yell house. And that, I didn't know, it was invented in Italy in the 1500s.
And it's still sticking around today.
Well, I mean... I was going to say a joke about the ladies being practically from the 1500s, but come on. That old.
No, and you're not that mean. You're not that mean of a person.
No, it's a grandmother. You never say anything about age.
It's a sweet old granny, and she's just, she doesn't have a lot going on anymore, but she gets to hang out with her girlfriends.
Well, they're doing something on a Friday night.
Yeah,
I don't have any plans.
That's more than we're doing.
That's exactly right. I should be looking into playing bingo or housey.
We should join a bingo, pirate rugby club.
They even have a club to go to.
Yeah.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
We've got a wedding dress hunt on the horizon. I don't know. We need to find the owner of a wedding dress.
Someone lost one?
The search is on. Yeah, this is in the Frisco, Texas area, where the North Texas Tollway Authority found a wedding dress that was all boxed up on the side of the road on July 23rd, last Friday night. And they still don't know who is the owner or why it was on the side of the road. And so they're putting out, is it an APB? They want to find the owner. They
want social media to do its job.
Yeah.
And try to figure out who, and most importantly, everybody just wants to know probably the details why.
Yeah.
Like, was the window open and someone knocked it out? Did you have a fight and you threw it out and you're not getting married anymore? Like, did you break up?
It says, according to the story, I think that it was all boxed up, so it doesn't look like somebody just accidentally found it.
Sure.
Or no, it doesn't look like somebody accidentally dropped it out of their car.
Well, no, you could have, like, say you picked it up from the store or something and it was all boxed up. Or it could have been an older dress from someone who had already got married and they're divorcing and they threw it out the car.
That's what I feel is more likely. I think that it was intentionally maybe left behind, because I think they also said
it's a statement dress.
Even though it is boxed up, it looks like it might be. Oh, yes. The documents inside the packaging revealed that the dress was boxed more than 20 years ago.
So it's an old one.
Yeah, so it could be from an old painful memory that somebody's just trying to leave behind.
No,
and now the North Texas Tollway Authority is just bring it back up.
No, okay, this makes sense. It's a wedding dress TikTok thing.
Okay.
The trend is to recently go find like your mom or someone who has their old wedding dress and then to see what it looks like, how modern or how well it would work now.
Okay.
Even if you weren't getting married, the trend is to like unbox it and stuff.
Okay.
So maybe someone was going to do that and the mom was like driving it over. and it just fell out? Yeah, I think falling out plays into this somehow.
No, I think it was intentional.
You ever have all your windows down and you just know something
and a box just flies out the window?
You could have been like,
a box containing an entire wedding dress.
Like, what's over there? And then poof, and it goes right out the window.
A real big gust.
I don't know how you drive, Hudson, but it's possible.
I think maybe if it was hanging on the hanger thing that's in the back seat.
It could have.
And it gets like sucked out like with the air pressure, but I don't think a box. It's just going to up it. I mean, if it was a truck, maybe it fell out of the back of a truck.
Well, it could be. I don't know why you're thinking it's not, but they're saying that they're going to hold the dress for 90 days in Texas. After that, remember we talk about those auction sites, the government ones where it's like all these like forklifts and airplanes and wedding dresses.
Yep.
It'll be auctioned off along with other abandoned property that's fallen out of people's cars.
There you go. If you can, if you're getting married a little over 90 days from now. You can get a steal of a deal on a wedding dress.
I don't know.
With a real story behind it.
It's 20 years old, so I'm looking at
vintage.
It is.
It's retro.
It's a piece.
Yeah.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot. Radio U.
Scarlett Johansson, the Black Widow, as she's also known, has...
I don't think anymore.
Yeah, maybe not. She's going to be...
I think this is it.
Stricken from the record of all Disney Marvel movies because she is suing Disney over the release of the Black Widow movie from earlier this month. Mm-hmm. The crux of the lawsuit, basically the argument is her contract for the movie stipulated that she would get a certain percentage of the box office take
from theaters.
Yeah. However, Disney Plus, as we well know, released Black Widow also on Disney Plus. You had to pay to get it. $30, I believe, was the price, the Premier Access fee. But nevertheless, they released it on the streaming service the same time as they released it in the box office. So her argument is she's losing out on money that she would have gotten otherwise if it had just been released in the box office, because more people would have gone to the box office to see it, and she would have gotten more money from that.
I think she's assuming more people, and that might not be true. Disney responded, said there's no merit whatsoever. They say it's sad and distressing on its disregard for COVID-19 and for the pandemic. I mean, that obviously changed a lot of things because that was supposed to come out right at the beginning of COVID thing, and then it got pushed quite a lot. And everybody else on the Black Widow stuff was like, no, let's do it. Let's put it out on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But for her, because of her contract, they say that she got $20 million.
Yeah.
And then I think they were treating Disney Plus stuff as like bonuses.
Yeah. That's what is difficult for me to parse out here is Disney in their response initially said with Disney Plus Premier Access, that has significantly enhanced her ability to earn additional compensation, which that's carefully worded. Mm-hmm. That doesn't say she also earned money from it. It said it had enhanced her ability to earn. Mm. So, I mean, obviously the simple solution would just be she also gets a percentage of Disney Plus's Premier Access price that they charge, but we don't know if she did or didn't with that. And furthermore, that wasn't really written into her contract because I don't think that was even a thing at the time when she signed on.
No one saw that coming.
Yeah.
But again, that is a bold move because I kept thinking, like, I know you want to stand up for yourself, like if you feel like you've really been wrong.
Yeah.
But it's hard when you're like, but you've been wrong $20 million, and that doesn't feel so bad. And second, I think Disney owns and has their hand in almost everything.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do when you want to do another type of movie and they don't want to work with you?
I think my theory is she only can do this because this is, in theory, her last Marvel movie. Mm-hmm. And so she can say, and because, you know, if there's other actors that are in a similar situation, they may want to do the same thing as well. But because, and actually in the Marvel movies, it's kind of been a thing in the past of the contracts weren't exactly very generous for it because they were signing kind of lesser known people. But with her, this is potentially her last movie. And so she can say, I've earned my money already and I don't need to be a part of this franchise anymore. So I can burn this bridge and get some extra money out of it. And if she's got other people she's talking to, there's like, yeah, I wish I could do this, but I don't want to lose out on the future movies or something like that, or burn a bridge because I want to do other stuff with Disney, then maybe she's kind of behind the scenes, somebody that they're kind of rooting for.
Well, I don't know if that's the best move. And if you're
going up against Disney, you're not very likely to win.
And if you're really upset about it, you should have filed something weeks ago when it came out.
Yeah.
But it apparently didn't make enough for you.
Hold on. Maybe we're thinking about this all the wrong way. We're thinking Disney Plus hurt the initial box office and she's not getting the money from Disney Plus. Maybe the thinking is, if you remember, Black Widow cratered after the first week, its box office earnings.
Yeah.
So maybe, like we were kind of saying, it maybe being on Disney Plus made it easier to pirate or something like that, and that what was hurting the box office take. Maybe that's the argument, actually, which that could make some sense too.
This is Radio U's Worst of the Riot.
We've brought in Mr. News and Traffic. It's Isaiah because I wanted to know, you've been talking about the Scarlett Johansson Black Widow Disney lawsuit. We just talked about it also, but I wanted to know, like, are you, we just are getting to know you and we don't know anything about what you watch. So do you
It's
watch?
a loaded question. Then what if it's not good?
Yeah.
I know, right?
What if, hey, Sydney watches JAG and NCIS and CSI and we still let her come around.
You're right. She watches all the acronym shows.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Like all the CBS stuff.
Crime procedurals is all.
It's embarrassing.
And she's watched all the current ones, so now she's going through the old, like the ones from the 80s.
So you're right. Hit us with what you got.
Yeah.
Like, what do you like? Do you like Marvel stuff?
So my go-to thing is Marvel.
Okay.
But the thing that a lot of people disagree with me on is the only subscription service that I use
Oh, here it is.
is Disney Plus.
That's
That's
it?
the only
That's
one.
the only one you have?
I don't use Netflix. I don't use
Wait.
Hulu.
No, that's fine.
Wait, like you're not paying for it because it's through your mom, or like you,
Or you don't even use it.
watch it?
I don't even have it. My parents play for the Disney Plus one, and that's it. So I'm a complete freeloader on that, but I don't really have Netflix or Hulu, so I don't watch any shows like that.
Wow.
But I just recycle through on Disney Plus, just whatever they have.
See, I want
Really?
your freedom. I want to dump Netflix just because I've had it since like forever, but I don't watch anything on it. But
No.
I just when you've had it a part of your life for so long, you're not ready to break up, but you don't even have that.
Have you noticed that, like when we posted Isaiah's welcome picture introducing him to everybody, they are all comment on the social media. They were all commenting on how he was dressed nicely.
Is that because he doesn't watch
he doesn't
Netflix?
have, he doesn't have any money tied up in streaming services, so he can buy nicer clothes than us.
If you look at us, you're like, guys, you got all the streaming services. I guess we do.
Yeah, on Netflix, like I would use my girlfriend's account from time to time, but there was just never anything on there that I was like, I need this.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right now, and well, I don't pay for it either. So Nikki's the one.
Listen, I'm the only one not freeloading off everyone. Hudson has an amazing setup where like this brother does this parent does that parent does that, and then they all share, and that's
But
perfect.
Does it count as freeloading if I don't actually really use
No, 'cause
Netflix?
You said you don't watch like any of the others.
Hardly
but
ever.
A lot of people do.
Actually, well, it's them freeloading off of me. It's kind of an exchange. One brother plays for Disney Plus, and
Yeah.
I pay for HBO Max, and then we also have Netflix subscription and stuff. But those are the only two that people actually use, and so like me and my brother are funding our whole family's streaming subscriptions, pretty much.
You guys.
Yeah.
So Disney's is your thing.
Disney, the Marvel movies, I watch them over and over and over
So have
again.
you watched like Loki then, or are you not caught up?
Yeah, I have watched those series. I've watched
good.
Loki and WandaVision and all that. I actually already have seen Black Widow. I went and saw that in theaters.
Oh,
Well, first off, Scarlett Johansson says thanks.
yes.
I know, right?
Absolutely.
I'm helping her paycheck. That's why I
Yeah.
went, you know?
Yeah.
You're part of the 20 million.
Literally.
We have a lot to talk about then. You and me can have some Loki discussion.
Oh, yeah.
And Nikki can't because she hasn't watched it.
Don't pressure
Nikki.
me, all right? It's only been out for a few months.
Yeah.
Like, stop it.
It's if you watched it now, you'd just be behind. That's not even a point.
I have this defiance disorder where, like, if you want me to watch it, then I can't. So if you really want me to do
But
something,
also,
I don't.
if we don't want you to watch it,
I
you
also
don't watch
don't.
it.
Yeah.
You just watch rug cleaning.
I watch a lot of weird YouTube videos, so
Yeah.
I'm fine to be honest about that.
Yeah.
We've done you a favor by selecting the best of the worst and compiling it all in one place. Riot Podcast Radio U.
A few days ago, I think it was this week, we talked about a new milk alternative.
I think it was yesterday. Potato milk.
Was it?
Yeah.
The week has gone by. So potato milk is something that's more European.
Yeah.
And it's not as popular here, but it is like potatoes that you boil, and then you take the water, you mix it with some potato, like vanilla, maple
Yeah.
syrup, like a sweetener. And then you have an alternative to like almond milk or regular moo-moo milk.
You know what they say? You can milk anything with nipples. You can also milk anything you want if you just boil water with
That's
it and
apparently-
run it through a cheesecloth.
That's apparently what it is, because they said that, man, they were shaming like even milk alternatives, because they said almond milk's not good because
Yeah.
you're taking too much water.
Yep.
And everybody's in a drought
Oat milk was too much land.
because of oats.
Yep,
Like,
and too much
what's
CO2
left?
from real milk. So There's just always something.
So there's one more alternative in case we wanted to try, and maybe potato milk wasn't your thing.
And this one, when you think potato milk, you think that doesn't sound good, at least to me, even though I love potatoes. So maybe we're missing out. But for this, corn milk.
Oh.
That actually sounds good, doesn't it?
Dude, we like sweet corn. Actually, I like sweet corn Pringles.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, those are great.
So
those
I think
are really
I like
great.
sweet corn too.
Yeah.
But basically, you take sweet corn and you boil it and kind of make what they call a corn stock. And you can use that to make milk as well.
I really like, I didn't realize because Nikki found this article and she was reading it to me a little bit off the air. And she said, I already always milk the cobs. And
That's
I
what they say in the. Oh, you thought I was saying it?
What does that say to you?
That's not me.
You said I already always milk the cobs, and I thought I didn't even give it a second thought. I was like, "Yep, Nikki just
sure
milks.
she does.
She milks the cobs.
No,
that is what she does."
That's from the article.
No.
Because I told him the person who wrote this article is like really pro corn. Because they're like, what did they say at the end? They say corn milk tastes exactly like how you hope it would. Creamy and corny. It's sweet, but only as sweet as your corn. Perfect for baking and cooking. Like it's really, really into it.
Yeah, is this written by Del Monte or something?
I don't know. This person is assuming a lot about normal people because I'm not milking corn on the cob and I don't do anything besides eat the corn.
I don't know what milking the cob even means, but
well, that means I think cutting all the corn off. Because, you know, like if you have corn the first time, if you reheat it or if you want to have it again, you take a knife and you go down the side of it. So it's then just corn like pieces. It's not on the cob.
It looks like that you're like cutting it with a knife and getting some of the juice out of the cob part.
Oh.
And that's very sweet also. So you can't just eat a cob.
Gosh, there's so much pressure. That's all we do. We're just eating corn. I didn't know we're supposed to do everything else.
We're just not getting the most out of our corn.
Think of it as athleisure for your ears. Radio U's Worst of the Riot podcast. It's a good thing The Riot isn't a part of a subscription service. We have a feeling people only listen because it's free. This is The Riot on Radio U.
It is The Riot on Radio U, 8772 Radio U. It is a New Music Friday, and we have a new winner. That is Carrie in Fort Myers, Florida.
Congratulations. Got the download for Paradise Now. We Never Die is their new album that's out today. And when you hear Paradise Now, Ask and Tell You. Ask is the nice way. Suggest to you that you text the word Paradise to 8772 Radio U. The seventh texter will get the download of We Never Die from Radio U. And there are tons of chances to win all day today.
Yep. If you want to know more, radiou.com/contest. Now, Nikki, how does this sound to you? Oak Meadow Ranch. It's in Valley View, Texas.
Nice.
About an hour north of Dallas. They have
good location.
Yep. They have over 60 or nearly 60 animals, different species that live there, from lemurs, kangaroos, camels, sloths.
Is it like an animal sanctuary?
Yeah. And they also have a steakhouse that offers a 5-course meal. How does that sound?
What's on the 5 courses?
I don't know.
Okay.
Wait, what are you thinking?
Well, one time I went to a turtle sanctuary, and then at the end, you could have turtle soup. It wasn't that type of, it wasn't the sanctuary that innocent Nikki thought it was. It was, they understood that some of the turtles had to pay the ultimate price so that some could also live.
Oh.
And so they sold like turtle meat, but that they didn't tell you until you were done.
Some
at
must
the
die
end.
so that the rest may live.
And that was upsetting to me, to say the least. So I wasn't sure like what's on the menu.
So would you eat lemur, kangaroo, camel, any of it?
No, I wouldn't.
Why not?
Why would I?
Why would you eat a cow?
I don't want to.
But you do, right?
That's just the only option. And mine are the old ones.
No, you
that
can
are
eat
ready
Beyond
to go
Meat.
anyways.
You can eat Beyond Meat.
No, I did
and
that
no
for a
animals
while.
are harmed.
Just poor soybeans. But I do like going to, like the drive-through animal parks or like the sanctuaries to kind of see, especially animals you're not used to seeing.
Yeah. Well, this one, it is actually not, as far as I know, serving up the animals that are at the sanctuary. What makes it unique is you get a 5-course meal, which I'm sure that's very affordable, along with at the end, you can interact with 12 of their different species that they have, including they definitely want you to know you can hang out with the sloths after your 5-course meal.
That's fun.
Even, you don't even have to get the 5-course meal if you just spend the night and they will bring the animals to you.
Oh, but you can stay. I feel like, listen, I'm used to having my doggies in bed at night. I would like a sloth, please.
Yeah.
Bring me something.
I bet you they would be cuddly, don't you think?
I think so. I mean, don't they have the nails, though?
Yeah, that's true. And I think they generally sleep in trees, I think. So, I mean, maybe there's different kinds of sloths, but I think they mostly, because that's the only place they're safe. If you're walking that slow on the ground, you're going to get eaten by an alligator or a hungry human.
You got to be prepared. Now, Maria just texted, said, I've eaten camel. It's like overcooked pork. Yum. And it just sounds delicious, doesn't it?
There is a international market nearby that I know does have camel.
Oh, they do?
I went through a little phase, and I guess I'm still in it, but not as much, where I wanted to try different types of exotic meats.
Yeah.
And I didn't really...
If we can't travel, we can at least eat like we do.
Just see, because we like pork, we like beef. What if we like chicken? What if there's other animals that are just as tasty or even more so? We don't know about it.
So did you try it?
I've tried kangaroo.
It
was disappointing.
Yeah.
It was very gamey, I guess you could say.
Tough.
So I wasn't, it almost had like ground beef or ground pork, but then it had a kind of fishy almostness to it. Not the salt, but just like kind of, how fish just has that like stank a little bit to it.
Sure.
And the kangaroo kind of had a stank.
We know Hudson's thoughts on fish, so we won't ask.
And then what else have I tried? That was the most unique one. I had a kangaroo burger.
That was it.
Yeah. And then I was like, you know what? Actually, it's not that good. So I guess I won't try anymore.
Hamburger it is.
Yeah.
We'll just go back to that. So they say this ranch has like axe throwing and like hiking. So you can, I'm sure they do weddings and stuff like that. But if you wanted to, you could hang out with the animals too.
I wonder if they'd let you eat a lemur if you asked.
All I know is like, I don't think it's open anymore, but someone had sent me a place, I think somewhere in like the mountains of the South or something, of a place where bears would just walk around.
And then you got to eat them?
No, I mean... I don't think you did. I mean, maybe they didn't promote that point of it if they got too close, but it was just a hotel, like some small sort of boutique sort of hotel, and they would have bears and they'd be on the porch, and you could just sit there with your morning coffee.
Well, that sounds safe.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they were okay. They're probably feeding them marshmallows or something on the side, so they were good, but this sounds fun too if you're ever in Texas.
Don't say we didn't warn you. This is the worst of the riot.
Sam from Paradise Now here on this new Music Friday.
So
Sam, good morning.
Good morning, Sam. How are you doing?
Good morning. Well, good afternoon for the UK resident here.
You're right.
But,
Sam is in Wales, so he's ahead of time. Today is our new Music Friday for the new album from Paradise Now, which we have been eagerly waiting for a very long time. So make sure you listen all day to Radio U for your chance to win a download of We Never Die starting today from Paradise Now.
And Sam, I want to start off with this because we know you guys are from Wales, and I'm always curious. I'm a Canadian, so every time I see somebody from Canada in like American news or like when Jim Carrey's doing well, it makes me feel good. It's my pride. Who do you have pride in Wales besides yourself, of course?
It's the barrel is quite small, I think.
The only one I can think of, I always think of is Tom Jones. Is that the guy?
Yeah, Tom Jones. Yeah, he's still going. Like, he's got to be like 90% silicone by now. And there's the standard one at the moment is Gareth Bale. He's a famous footballer.
There you go.
But I guess the rock scene is quite big. There's bands like Holding Absence. I don't know if you guys have heard them. they're quite a new up and coming band. But yeah, I guess Gareth Bale would be the main guy at the moment.
See, Hudson, what you don't realize is when everybody asks this question outside of Paradise Now, they're saying them.
Right, I know. The space is wide open for you guys to carry the Wales flag.
Did you come up with another one?
I did. Sorry, the actor who plays Elton John in Rocket Man.
Oh, Taron, is it Edgerton?
Yeah. He's a Welsh guy. Yeah.
He's from Kingsman too, so we like the Kingsman. Yeah, I didn't know he was from Wales.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, now we have somebody to root for.
Well, I was going to mention last time Paradise Now was in studio with us, which seems like forever ago because it's been a while since you guys have been here in America. You're the guys that also like Top Gear, right?
Yes. Yeah. We're obsessed. I think that was like 50% of our bonding experience with a lot of Americans was kind of talking about Top Gear. We love it. And there's like the Grand Tour now as well. They just announced there's a new one. I could talk. I need to talk about music more than I need to talk about Top Gear.
Well, I was going to mention because the lockdown from the Grand Tour starts today, so like we can start watching it today. And then when I was watching, Jeremy Clarkson has like a farming show. I watched like the first couple episodes, and I kept thinking Paradise Now. Like I wish you had a watch show that we could watch it all together, and I kept wishing that.
But that next time we come over, we should just do like a Top Gear marathon with all of you guys. But I was like, I saw the announcement about the lockdown episode, and me and Nathan and our wives had recently just done a road trip to Scotland as well. So we were really excited about that. But then also the fact that it's going to be released on our album.
Release day. It's a big day. Well, it's called because it's Lockdown, LOCH down, so not like LOCK. So that's for the Grand Tour.
Very clever.
So today comes Paradise Now before anything else.
Right.
So just a reminder, be listening for Paradise Now to tell you to be the 7th texter all day today to get a download of We Never Die, which is finally out today.
Woo.
Yeah. Hey, Sam, tell us about the new album. It's your debut full-length release. And when you put together like a full album, especially when it's your debut, I want to know, like, what do you hope people get out of it as you finally put out a full album? Like, what is the full story behind it?
Yeah, I mean, this is new ground for us. I mean, straight off the bat, I'm like, I just hope that they listen all the way through. But no, I'm excited. I hope that they see. So we kind of started the process almost like 3 years ago.
Oh wow!
So
wow!
It spanned 3 years of writing and recording. We did it in such a Mickey Mouse way of just doing like it's been recorded here, there, and everywhere over the space of a few years. And so hopefully that the chronological time translates to the album, and you kind of can see the journey that we've been on through it. But yeah, like one of the big things for us is just we just hope that people feel hope as they listen to it. Because growing up listening to rock and metal music, I loved it. But I just couldn't get over how kind of dark stuff is, dark lyrics are, and we just want to still have that cool vibe of heavy music being, really meaning something and going deep, but full of hope as well. I know we really enjoyed the writing process, and it's been an amazing journey for us, but we're just so proud to get it out there and hope that people enjoy it.
Oh, we're excited today. And again, like I said, it's more important than the Grand Tour or anything else today. Paradise Now has a New Music Friday today, so be listening. The album, it's amazing. We might have already heard it already. And of course, we really love the new song too, I Hope It Never Ends. So I think that's just a good jumping off song for people to get excited to finally have the full album out.
Well, thank you so much.
That's that.
Oh, sorry.
I think Hudson was like, yes.
Yeah,
and Sam is like, yes. We're all super, super excited for today. Are you guys going to do anything fun today? Or I know like in some parts of the world, everybody's still more locked down or in or free to do whatever. But I didn't know if you have any other plans for the promotion today.
Yeah, we're good. We're all hanging out. For the last few months, we've been renting a studio space and doing a lot of the work together, which has been amazing after, almost a year of being separate and having to work, via Zoom and Google Drive. It's been nice to be in the room together. But so we're having a big kind of hangout. My parents are going to come down and see. They're not overly keen on the music, but they want to support us anyway.
Oh, that's so cute.
But, yeah, so we're just going to have a big kind of party with the whole Paradise Now team and family. Yeah.
Nice. Well, we'll play I Hope It Never Ends. Sam, thank you so much for joining us in Wales.
Thanks, man.
And thanks for taking time today. And like we mentioned, New Music Friday. Be listening all day for your chance to win a download. We Never Die is out today from Paradise Now.
We would say rate and review the podcast. But let's be honest, that would probably hurt more than hell. The Worst of the Riot podcast.
Have you seen the trailer that came out yesterday for House of Gucci?
I did. I watched it.
Yeah?
I did.
Did you just do it on your own or did you do it for the show?
I did it for the show because I thought you might ask about it. And I thought maybe I should at least see it.
It's funny because it's not like House of Gucci. It's literally about Gucci, like the fashion brand and the behind the scenes, I guess, the family with it. I guess there's a big story behind that. I didn't know. But it's not the type of thing just on its face that you would think we would be interested in or talk about. But you see the cast of the movie, and it is very impressive. Adam Driver and Lady Gaga are the stars. Mm-hmm. And then Al Pacino, Salma Hayek. There's a whole long list. And most of the rest of the cast, I think, is like, older actors or whatever. They're playing the Italian family. But then the thing that really got people talking and got us interested was Jared Leto and what he looks like in the film.
So every time I see him, I never see him in a movie that he looks like him.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he always picks these roles where I think...
There is no look that's him because he's always changing it for a movie.
I feel like awards come to when you change your look so much for something, like when someone gains a lot of weight for a role or they lose a lot of weight and...
or put on a fat suit sometimes.
Like, it must have been really hard, so here's an Oscar sort of thing. But he looks really different in it. I was trying to come up with, to describe, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, another person that he looks like, and I can't do it. Can't figure it out.
Can you think of anybody that looks, he's got a bald... like his hair is out at the front of his head, but he's got a little at the back, but then his hair is long, like down to his shoulders kind of, and he's old looking. He's got like liver spots and stuff.
He's playing the character, so wouldn't he look like how that person really looked in real life?
Yeah, but who knows? Like, we didn't even know there were Gucci people. Did you? I didn't know.
I don't know if we're the target for Gucci people. So
I don't think our audience is either.
Yeah,
so
I think they were really banking on us being like, yeah, that's great. I really want to see it now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if I watched the trailer, I watched enough.
You think? I have the feeling, and you brought up a great point, because it is so Oscar baity that once the Oscars do come around, I'm probably going to wind up watching it. And it actually legitimately does have something that looks interesting to me, just because it looks weird, kind of. And I'm also always into weird movies.
I know Jared Leto, like he's a real method actor, it feels like.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't mind Adam Driver. I think he's a good actor too. But Adam Driver, he did a Burberry ad campaign.
Okay.
And that was trending a few days ago because it is weird. At the end, he turns into a centaur. And
spoiler alert.
No, it's not a spoiler. You got to know. Like, I can't look at him now after watching that leaked commercial.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, are they taking themselves seriously with it or what?
If it's a cologne commercial, didn't you say it was cologne?
It is. I'm going to have you watch it after this.
Yeah.
People need to watch that first. Then the trailer for
then Jared Leto doesn't seem so weird after all.
It doesn't. But I feel like, why would Adam Driver do that? Mm-hmm. So I can't watch the Gucci movie because it has all that. So.
I just thought, my initial thought with Jared Leto is like, he doesn't look good in the movie.
Well,
but
now you're offending the person he's portraying. Why do you got to be mean?
Well, I don't know. It's not a great look.
It's called an old person.
It's
what
not,
do you think?
Oh, you can be an old person and look different than that. Like, you don't have to choose that hairstyle and stuff. But I just thought about him walking around like that, while he was filming the movie, and I'd be like, wasn't he embarrassed? But then it's like, nobody knew he was Jared Leto because he was so unrecognizable.
Really into character.
And, they just wouldn't know, so it's fine. So, anyways, House of Gucci coming to a theater near you.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
So, we've got Isaiah, Mr. News and Traffic, in the studio here to, I want to ask you, what is more interesting to you, the NBA draft and Russell Westbrook getting traded to the Lakers, or all of the flurry of activity in the baseball world with the trade deadline?
You see, for me personally, I'm more of an NBA guy than MLB guy at this point, since the Indians just aren't having the year that I was hoping for.
Yeah.
But
the new to be Guardians.
Yeah, the new to be Guardians, yes. But the MLB, for the trade deadline, this is like the craziest one they've ever had, pretty much.
I think so too.
I saw like 6 All-Stars, I think, have been traded, along with like the former Cy Young winner from last year. So it's been really crazy for baseball comparatively so to the trade deadline in the past, which hasn't been nearly this wild.
Yeah. Is this right? The trade deadline is technically tomorrow?
Yeah.
So there's still the rest of today and all of tomorrow, or at least most of tomorrow, where trades can still be happening.
It can still keep going. And if it does, it literally will be the craziest one they've ever had.
So that's the last point, that they could trade players that they don't want anymore?
Yeah, exactly. And what it oftentimes happens is there's the teams, Nikki, that are like the teams that are competing to win, to make it into the playoffs and get to the World Series, and there's the teams that know they're out of it already this year, and so they will get rid of their players that are either older, more expensive contracts, or if their contracts are about to expire at the end of this year anyways, then they'll just trade them away to get something for them. And the teams that are trying to win the championship this year, they're willing to give up their future picks and prospects and whatever because they just, for a guy who's only going to be around possibly till the end of the season, because they really want him to win this year.
I see.
And so the big trade was the Dodgers. They traded for Max Scherzer and Trey Turner from the Nationals. And that's one of the biggest deals we've ever seen. They're both top 10. Like, Max Scherzer is a top 10 pitcher and Trey Turner is a top 10 fielder hitter. So the Dodgers are all of a sudden even more stacked than they already were. They probably already had another 2 or 3 top 10 guys already. So that is, it almost takes the fun out of it, don't you think?
It does, especially when teams are willing, because in the MLB there's no salary cap.
Yes, so that's the problem.
It is the problem, especially since,
like the hockey thing with the one guy.
Right. You can assemble a team as much as you are willing to pay, where in every other real major sport,
they put a limit.
Yeah, so that you don't have the Dodgers in this case. They have all the money in the world and they can outspend everybody, even so that a team like the Reds in Cincinnati, as good as they may be at the moment, they can't
afford the players.
Yeah, they can't afford to pay the people.
It makes it really hard for smaller market teams in baseball to win, like Cleveland and Cincinnati, when they're going up against the Yankees and the Boston Red Sox and the Dodgers, who will year in and year out spend way more money.
Yeah.
I mean, the Yankees are a total culprit of it. They pretty much pay everyone on their team as much as they want, just so they can stack it up. Which is it's how it is.
The good news is the Yankees are pretty terrible at picking their players.
They are, but they pay them out.
Love guys.
They pay them.
Yes, they do. They pay them a lot to strike out. I think they get $1 million per the times that they strike out at the plate.
Well, now I know if I was a baseball player, I'd want to go there.
Yeah.
You're not expected to do much, just, get paid.
Yep, if you can just kind of lumber around the bases, if you ever do happen to hit a home run. Yeah, the Yankees would love to have you.
Okay, so the trade deadline, though, you said is tomorrow?
It's actually tomorrow, but this, like we've said, this is one of the craziest weeks leading up to the trade deadline we've ever seen.
So one last question. Do you think a player knows when they're like... Or is this like they don't see it coming, or do they mostly know that it's something that might happen? Most
of the bigger players, they know that it's coming, especially if their contract is up. And frankly, a lot of them are happy to leave because, again, they're going to have to move and find a new team at the end of the year anyways, so they might as well ride out the rest of this season with a team that actually has a chance of winning the championship instead of just playing in, Pittsburgh in front of fans that aren't really excited and you're losing every time.
Tim just texted. He says, I need to watch Moneyball.
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The Riot exists because Radio U exists, and Radio U only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at radiou.com/donate.